That girl with the cards here, aka Abigail Wyatt. I said I'd try to do this sooner rather than later. This is the favourite cards video that I did mention in the audio update, but something that has happened that I didn't quite expect, but I'm glad I've decided to go ahead with. It's not just me. I have a guest with me in the form of Itzzwan. Say hello, Itzzwan.
Hi, I'm the other British person who makes YouTube videos on urban rifles. Hi.
Hi. um, Gonna say, please excuse us. We are recording this on Discord, so there might be maybe a little cutout or whatever. And it's like at the time of recording, we are recording at like 25 past 9 in the evening. So hopefully we're not too tired, especially after you've had the whole day of editing, haven't you?
Yeah, and I mean to be fair, it is far past my bedtime right now, so I should probably, be calling it a night.
Is that a joke or?
Well, obviously a joke. I was
Because I
gonna
was going to
say,
say it's Sunday tomorrow, and I think you
yeah,
finished uni for the year, so.
bedtime's 10:30 anyway, Jesus.
God, Mom. Anyway, like I said, this is going to be about favourite cards, not necessarily about stats or, who's good in DT or whatever, EFC or whatever they want to call ELO these days. This is going to be more on design and kind of more a personal thing. I'm just going to go through some notes, and can chime in with his opinion if he has one. I
Yeah,
don't know how familiar he is with some of these cards.
it's gonna be a fun mind game, and just to clarify, these are Abby's favorite cards. These are not necessarily my favorite cards. Just thought I'd get that out there.
Yeah, because as I said, I was originally going to do this on my own, but I've brought Itzzwan in, and I'm kind of glad I did because it beats talking to myself. Anyway, we're going to start off with. I wouldn't say to this very day he's my top favorite card, but when I first started UR, he was kind of like the guy who, if you want to blame anyone for me being here, you should probably blame Jonas. Um, I'm just trying to think now. I was sorry, I'm going to kind of go into the origin story now of how I really got into UR, if that's okay. I was bored in sixth form one day. This was back in 2010, so yeah, I'm a bit older than people expect me to be. Um, I was bored in sixth form, and I remember having played UR the about a week in 2008. I wasn't sure why I went off the game, but I went back to it, and the New Blood release, I believe, was Benson of the Rescue, Sigma of the Sacrom, Zang of the Sentinel, and Jonas of the Uppers. And I remember seeing the other three and being all, oh, these cards are alright, the artwork's alright. Saw Jonas and was like, right, I have to play this game. 2010 me was, well, she thought a lot of guys were good looking. 2018 me isn't as impressed, but I still think Jonas has got some pretty decent artwork. He's still nice to look at. He's one of my favourite 2 stars in the uppers. He doesn't get a lot of play. I think he should get more play, but now I've got cards like Doctor Six and Jose Star who take over those spots. I know I said I wasn't going to talk much about DT, but I'm just telling the truth. Don't see a lot of play, with Jonas in general, and it's a shame, really. But yeah, I guess it's more a nostalgic thing, really. And
Hmm.
sorry, I completely went off on one. Then, did you want to say anything?
I mean, the main thing I was going to notice for I've never really particularly paid too much attention to this cards, but I must admit he's got a pretty damn good form, and he's quite he's got body goals for sure, and I won't deny that. Like he's looking pretty peak fitness right there.
The next card I wanted to talk about is probably a card that if people watched my YouTube account back in the day, probably associate me most with this character. Miho of the Berserk. I did actually have the username Miho Ansatsu on both UR and DA for a little while, shortly after this girl had been released. I don't remember her release date, but I don't know why, but I felt a connection to this character when she was released. Wasn't I didn't have a particular hatred of Aniki like she did. I mean, Aniki's one of my favourite cards. I probably would have put him in this list if I wasn't sticking to the one card per clan and I was already set on the choice that I have for Montana. But I think it's because I'm maybe playing a little on Asian stereotypes here, but I imagine she's pretty small, like a small lady. And I think it's the fact that with the Berserk, there's that whole thing of they get angry really easily. And back, I wouldn't have said I've never had anger issues, but back then, when it came to like UR and that, I could be set off quite easily. Someone said to me, "Oh, I don't like such and such character. They suck and they're terrible," and I'd just be like, "You what, mate?" I probably would have started a fight with them. If I punch him through the screen or something. I'm not like that now. 2010, 2011 me was a more high strung person. 2018 me is too anxious to just start anything with anyone. Also, this little bonus of her being based on the character of the same name from Sin City. Wasn't too keen on Sin City in general, but I did like the character of Miho. I thought she was really interesting, especially with the selective mutism that she had. I don't know if that changes in the second Sin City film. I'm still yet to see that. Have you seen any of them films?
I'm very familiar with Sin City, and especially considering that I did film studies back in college. But the main thing I can really remember about films is just the fact that obviously we were very stylized, and they had, I don't know what the correct word is for that style, but obviously they had a very distinct look for them, and that's about all I know about the films.
Am I right in
Yeah,
thinking it was like
I
black?
assume they're good, but I've just not seen them.
Am I right in
I just feel
thinking?
quite bad. I
Sorry.
feel No, it's all right. I just feel a bit silly because when I was looking at this card, I was thinking to myself, "Oh, is that a lightsaber which that card's got? Or is that based off one of the cards from like the Star Wars prequels?" And
Lightsaber.
just hearing you explain that, I'm just like, "No, Dan, no, it isn't. You're wrong." Yeah.
What I wanted to, because you said you're familiar with Sin City, am I right in thinking that they had it that the color scheme was either, it was like black and white, but the only color you really saw was red?
That is indeed correct.
Okay, I am remembering bits of this film correctly. I also remember she twists the blade. He feels it. I will apologise at this point if it seems like I'm rambling or just tripping over my words. 'Cause I'm only
I
really
mean,
going off notes
I
here.
don't think you can say anything when it comes to tripping over words, especially considering me and what I'm like. I mean, I edit out about 90% of when I'm slipping up on words, but I'm just horrendous when it comes to actually trying to get sentences out.
I don't want to be mean here, but that's a nice 9 life gap.
I mean, I wasn't going to, cheekily plug my latest video so you guys could go watch it and all that stuff, but yeah. It is one of those things where I almost feel like I'm not going to live that down.
At least you're taking it on the chin, though.
Yeah, no, it's funny, and there's a reason I left it in the video, so it's chill if you want to make fun of me. I'll tolerate it for now, and then eventually it'll just make me cry. But for now, it's fine.
Anyway, next up is when you were trying to guess them earlier before we started recording, and I said you've missed someone really obvious here.
Yeah, is this going to be the one where I then immediately go, "Oh, of course," when you say it?
Yeah, this is going to be Doc Ollie.
Oh, of course. Oh my god. Yeah, no, very obvious.
And this I wouldn't have. I wouldn't say I fell in love with Ollie's design straight away. The first form I thought, oh well, that's clearly a woman, like disguised as a man there. And then it went on to like, I'm gonna call it body horror because that's essentially what it is. I was like, oh, well then. But the more I read the bio and looked into this character, I was like, oh, she's actually a lot like me. And I'll just explain why this is. Um, see, she has the whole thing about disguising herself as a man. I imagine because back in them days it was like, oh, women weren't really listened to, so if she wanted people to buy her stuff, she'd have to disguise herself as a man. But it's kind of like I also prefer to wear like men's, like waistcoats and that. I've
Yeah.
never been one for wearing dresses, especially since the arthritis especially hit my leg. And when it comes to like cosplaying that, I do prefer cosplaying as like male wrestlers and male characters. And then there's the whole thing of like Ollie, I'm I'm also on what I would describe as a cocktail of medicine because like they have to put me on a lot of stuff to keep the arthritis under control. But I will say right now that there is no chance in hell that they are going to do to me that whatever Ollie's tonic is doing to her. I'm not suddenly
I mean,
just.
I'd kind of hope not, So that's a bit reassuring that that's not going to happen to you.
I thought I would just put the obvious there. I do have to be careful though about side effects and that because you hear about people who are on this stuff for years and they're fine and then something happens.
Oh God, yeah.
I like that she gets a lot of play. I see her in both T1 and T2 and I'm like, yes
Oh
girl, go
God,
on,
yeah.
yes queen.
I mean, literally just this morning, I was doing some battles with this fella, and he was playing Mono Ghost Town, and naturally Doc Holly had to be in there, and I was like, fair enough, but I've got SOA, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
But no, it's always nice and pleasant to see her index.
Someone on her character page had like the best comment to describe her. I'm not into football that much, but they said about this card's just like I think you pronounce it Arjen Robin or something.
Yeah, no, I know who you're
Predictable,
on about.
predictable AF, but still pretty damn unstoppable.
Yeah.
Anyway, going from one best girl to another best girl. Iris Morana of the Montana. Try saying that 5 times fast. Um,
Okay.
no, don't actually do
Right.
that.
Iris, so never mind.
Don't actually do that.
Iris Morana, Iris Morana, Iris Morana. No, I can't do it.
Iris Morana of the Montana. Anyway, I don't usually have girl crushes, but she is so pretty, and it's like, oh my god, no one should be that pretty. And also, she should have won Miss Clint City last year and not Pandora. You can fight me.
Well, no, that's undeniable. To be fair, like her and there are some really good like contestants, but with any sort of beat competition, it's always at the same time a popularity competition, and
Yeah,
they had to go for the most popular cards.
they just wanted another Pandora. That was all. Stats wise.
Pretty much.
And I, I kind of don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel that it was kind of me who spearheaded the whole Iris Morana thing because they announced the finalists of it was Pandora Vixen and Iris Morana. There might have been a few more, but it led to those three in the final three, and everyone was like, Pandora and Vixen. And I just went hashtag Team Iris Morana, and then just throughout the forum there were all these people, just like, yeah, Iris Morana, Iris Morana.
Yeah, clear trendsetter right there.
I mean, from the instant she was released, whichever Miss Clint City she was going to be part of, I wanted her to win it. And
Hmm.
there was a point,
Well,
like a couple of hours before the vote was due to close, that she was winning, but Pandora overtook her, and I was like, ugh.
I remember it being kind of close, if I remember correctly, but yeah, I'm sure it was. Which is a bit sad, but sort of I don't want to say weak version, but we've got Iris Moran, and then if you want like a lower starred version of Iris, then you've got Mona. So it's not all lost. And I'm trying to think to myself what sort of a Miss Iris Morana would be, for it to be like, I don't know, +2 power, and then something like whether it's like a 5/7 sort of on the same lines as Miss Livetheft. Like I'm not entirely sure what her stats would be.
Hmm. I remember the days when the it was like the first few years where the Miss Clint City card didn't actually change stats.
Yeah, no, I always look back at Chloe and Miss Chloe, and I always found it really confusing that they were exactly the same. But yeah, there are a couple where they're very similar, and then only sort of like the past couple of years they distinctively decided to, well, minus maybe Miss Jingshu, typically now Miss cards are a lot worse than the original cards, which
Mm.
makes sense. But I guess it's better that they did start releasing sort of different versions of said card instead of a carbon copy of the same cards.
I think Miss Jessie was the first one to follow that trend of the different stats and stuff. Because I
Yeah.
think Jessie's support +1 life, and then I think Miss Jessie is like +2 life or something. Hang on, I'm gonna
No, you've
quickly
got it the
look.
wrong way
Have I
around.
got it the wrong way
Jessie is for
around?
7/2 +2 life, and then Miss Jessie
Right.
is 6/1 support +1 life.
But they are
Boom,
different.
knowledge.
I don't play All Stars that often, so
Yeah, no one plays Miss Jessie anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I was gonna say Iris Morana is a pretty staple card in my Montana deck. Probably
Yeah.
what's helping her cause as well in terms of like favorite cards is that, I mean, like she's in the Montana, and I know they get the Montana from Scarface, one of my favorite movies. They have the whole Godfather thing. Godfather will forever be like my favorite movie of all time. But then she's got the Little Shop of Horrors reference, and I'm like, yes, that's like a card that if you take her actual reference and the reference of the clan she's in, that's like 3 of my top 10 movies in one card there.
But going back to the Godfather, which one's better, Godfather 1 or 2? Go.
One, I freaking love Marlon Brando, and I hate the fact that there's none of him in 2.
Showing favoritism, so that's why it wins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'm not gonna deny Godfather 2 wasn't bad. I see why people say it's up there with the first one, but I just prefer the first one because Marlon Brando.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, gonna move on to the next card now. And right, let's see if I can actually. I'm not sure if I can pronounce this. This is the Dominion that I mentioned. Um,
All right.
I'm probably gonna get. I'm probably gonna get people saying you pronounced it wrong, but I'm gonna pronounce it Gwiliug, the
Oh yeah,
palindrome.
that guy. I mean,
Like,
I have no clue, but I think Gwiliug is fairly close to what it is. But I'm no good frame of reference because I'm terrible when it comes to card names. I always get them wrong.
I mean, when Aniki first came out, I was calling him Anarchy for the first week or so. So
I mean, still, Anarchy is a pretty damn cool name, so it's okay. But nah, he kind of forgot about the vowels and what sounds vowels make.
anyway, this little cherub, this little hobbit, as soon as I saw him in the new Blood release, I was like, yeah, I think this is one of my new favorite cards in terms of design alone. I I think being this cute is probably illegal somewhere, but not illegal in Clint City. And I'm actually
Hmm.
surprised that they mention, oh, we released Valhalla for like the little girls. Artax was released for the little girls, but he wasn't popular with them. I'm surprised there's no mention of like the little girls here because I honestly think that they would think he was adorable. And
But
then
then again, although I don't want to sidetrack this, you saying Gwilliger's cute, and then when I think of my go-to cute cards, yeah. Let's not start that conversation, though.
I'm talking about adorable cute. I'm not talking about who you think is hot as well.
I'm hot. I think that's a very interesting term to use for that card, and it's implying stuff which I'm very not into at all. I'm sorry, but I think Tiwi is one of the cutest cards out there, and for some reason you don't
Ah,
respect him.
I just think I don't like the overrated mascot. I don't like Pikachu and I don't like Tiwi. Fight me.
But he's so cute.
I mean, if I had to pick one of the little Yeti family, I would go with Nana.
Yeah, I mean that's acceptable, but still, Tiwi is just up there, and I'll fight you to the end of the earth on that one.
I've got in my notes here. Oh yeah, instant I read about like it says about his pan that makes the magical meals. I thought to myself, did did you are just make a Metopia reference? Because there is a class in that game. So don't know if you've heard of it. It's a little RPG game where all of the characters are like the Miis.
Is it like oh Tamadori Life or whatever it's called?
Yeah,
I think
it's
I've completely got that name wrong.
it's along the veins of Tomodachi
You
Life.
know what I mean.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to call it Tamagotchi then. That's the wrong thing.
Tamagotchi Life. Yeah.
But
And the 90s kids will remember.
ball. There's a chef class in that uses like pans and that to cook meals that heal you. It's probably not because everyone's going, oh, it's Sam from Lord of the Rings, but I like to think it could be Metopia. And it's one of those games where I haven't completed it, but I have played it. You don't expect it to be that good, but it's better than you expect it to be.
Mm.
And you can put like you design like different Mii's and put different characters to different parts. And I actually made some of the Dominion to be in the main party. And I'm just gonna say, I've seen Gwiliog being used everywhere as well. Like he's another one of them 2 stars that just I've seen him in both T1 and T2. I'm using him in my deck, and I mean, I put him in there, because I think he's adorable. Well, first form, I mean, shame what happened to the second one, but, I'm not going to put an unevolved Gwiliog in my deck.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he was one of them where I put him in because I think, oh, this is adorable and I like this card, and he turns out to be useful for me.
No, he's definitely one of those cards which, again, very similar, or actually, well, the same as, say, what's his name from Montana's for begins with an A, and then he's also 6'2" SOA,
Oh,
and then also Cardigan.
Angelo.
Angelo and Cardigan, they're just cards which you're going to see in just those decks just by default, like that sort of very sort of low star SOA cards, but just always incredibly handy in decks. Because but just SOA is good. I like SOA. There you go. That's my professional opinion right there. SOA is good, but I never play Geist or Roots, so whoops.
I wonder if that's because they're actually releasing more cards that are like benefit from having their ability stopped.
And also, I don't want to be that person in DT Type 1 who plays Geist and just ruins everyone's decks, because I hate playing them. Like, they're a clan which you always sort of underestimate and you don't think are any good. But then when you're up against them and you unfortunately are playing a deck which is very ability reliant, you're just destroyed. And facing stuff like Arm 2000, you might as well just leave the game. There's just no point in even trying. Just stuff like Arm 2000, Rolf, whatever. No. just on to the next one. I don't care if I get no points and whatnot.
Yeah.
Let's just go. I can't bother to deal with that.
Well, it's funny that you
So
should
that's my
mention.
little rant.
It's funny that you should mention Geist and oh, there's a lot of cards that get screwed over by them because the next one in this list is someone who wouldn't get screwed over by the Geist because they're skills.
Ah, very very nice segue, I must say.
This is Dr. Falkenstein, and I will be honest, this isn't a guy that I liked from
I don't know.
since he was released, but it's only like during the past year that I've started to really like him because, well, are you able to look something up?
Potentially, yeah.
Right, if you go
Got
on,
my laptop right here.
have you got Dr. Falkenstein up?
Yeah, I do.
Right, if you go on Google, type in Broken Matt Hardy and tell me he doesn't look like Dr. Falkenstein's final level.
What broken Matt
Broken
Hart?
Matt Hardy.
Okay, right. I'm googling it right now. I know I've heard you make this comparison, but I've never seen this. So let's have a look. Okay, right. So he's that. Yeah, no, I can see that. I don't know why my voice went so high pitched, but yeah, no, no, that's quite a good comparison. Not gonna lie. I'm completely useless when it comes to wrestling, and I don't know anyone. But yeah, no, I think that's a pretty damn good comparison, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to think of a better one on the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, the guy came out. Dr. Falkenstein came out in 2012, and Broken Matt Hardy debuted about early 2016. And there's a part of me that is convinced that Matt Hardy knows who this character is, because like Falkenstein has the whole thing about
Yeah,
necromancy, and Matt has the whole thing of the Lake of Reincarnation.
I can't believe that card's from 2012 though. Like that is melting my brain right now. I thought that was a way newer card.
So did
I
I.
can't believe it was 2012. Bloody
Uh,
hell. That's
I,
the most surprising thing I've found out today. Bloody
I
hell.
might be wrong. I'll quickly got the skills up. I'll quickly check. Yeah,
He was on
the 10th of August 2012.
one day off. It was the 9th.
Yeah, but with URDB, for some
Like,
reason they show it like the day later. Oh, or is it UR shows it as the day earlier? Because even though they get released on a
I
Friday,
mean,
UR shows the dates that are like a Thursday for some reason.
it says released on Thursday the 9th. So I don't know.
But yeah, he's older than we thought.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can't believe 12. Like I thought he was like released in 2014 or something. Ah, my mind. It's been blown.
Before I move on to the last people on the list, do you have anything to say about Falkenstein in terms of like, playability or anything?
He's a card which, when I did used to play skills, very way years ago. Well, I used to play them a lot years and years ago. For some reason, I decided, oh, let's play skills in Type 1 DT. That'll be fun. Before there was stuff like Sopica and Dolem whatever. Before there were really any really solid cards like Betnina, but they're banned. But Dr. Falkenstein is a card which I never used, and instead I went for 4 stars, but I really wished that I used him instead because he is very powerful and just at -16, incredibly beneficial. Essentially, you get 2 pills for free, and there's not really any way of stopping that. It's just a great way of combating. Well, yeah, it's a great way of combating stuff like uppers and Montano, which were always quite prevalent threat in DT, especially to skills. So it's nice that they certainly had a card which one had very powerful attack manip and two could sort of beat attack manip to their own game.
Yeah, because if I remember rightly, at the time Just trying to remember the different release dates of the skills. They only really had at the time of Falkenstein's release, they only had one other, I would say, powerful attack manipulation, and I would have said that was Sasha.
Yeah, and Sasha's an interesting one because she can be beneficial, but she's just one of those cards where typically just, older to get your opponent just to you force your opponent to play some pills against you. So she's one where it can be beneficial, but usually it's just that's how most people use her. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. But Dr. Falkenstein certainly, well, Falkenstein, he certainly took it to a next level, which I'm quite thankful for that.
Yeah, he's whenever I do play skills, he's often in my deck.
Yeah, no, I can't fault you for that one.
Right, gonna move on to the last names on the list now. They come as a bit of a package deal, but I am going to explain this. These are two very very good boys from the Raptors. Why am I treating them like they are doggos? We have got Rocket, who is based on the best boy of Overwatch. What do you mean he's not based on Hanzo? I'm talking about Junkrat. And I'm gonna put Capri with Rocket because not only do I love like Capri's design and that and the whole he's a big guy but he's a pacifist and he's not afraid to show like this feminine side that he has. But I kinda headcanon him as the Roadhog to Rocket's Junkrat, like making sure he doesn't get in too much trouble. Um as I said, I know I said this was more on a design thing, but I can't really say a lot about Rocket in a stats thing. I can't really say I've used him though yet because that's the thing. I haven't used him yet in a deck. So I used Capri once upon a time, and he's pretty good for someone who has no ability. I believe he was the most recent card, well, the last card to have no ability, unless I'm wrong.
I think it has been quite a while since we've had a card which has just no ability at all, but yeah, I think you're correct there. I can't think of one on the top of my head, at least. Minus maybe the 9-3 in is it Vortex or no, not Vortex, Berserk.
Uh,
That 9-3, who
the
I
nine
also
three
believe
in
has
the
no ability.
Zerk. Oh, I'm
They
just
might have
quickly
come
looking
out
them up.
after Capri.
I can check the date. Who's 9-3 no ability? 9-3 no ability. 9-3 no ability. Uh,
I'm having to look it up because I can't
yeah, I'm having to look it up too.
remember.
Oh, I believe
Just gonna be
Sephora might have been later. Let's see. Nine. Yes, I believe Wait. Uh, Dominion with this year. Ghost Town were. Yes, Raptors came out before Hive, I believe. Sephora
yeah.
was 2016. Yeah, she was the last one.
Hmm. Well, there you go. There's the answer to your question.
Rocket is uh, Rocket is probably a strange one on this list because earlier this year I was talking to Yaoi Huntress, and I'd recently gotten into Overwatch at this point, and I said, "Oh well, we've got Tracer in Dixie, and we've got I think Bose from the Rescue had come out before this point, and she's Symmetra." And I remember saying to her, "Oh, why don't we have a Junkrat? I'd love for there to be a Junkrat reference." And she goes, "We have one." I went, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, the guy from the Raptors, Rocket." And I just looked him up and was like, "Oh my god, how did I miss that? How did I miss that was supposed to be a Junkrat reference?"
I just wanted more comments on sort of like Caprians when he was released, just because he was quite early on with obviously Raptors, and he came out sort of at the same time as July, and I think that was one of the first times when in Urban Rifles we actually properly got sort of a lot more. I'm not suggesting that Caprius isn't a part of it, but it was at that point in the game where we actually got some very sort of clear representation of the LGBT plus society in Urban Rifles, and I just thought that was like a really big thing for the game, and especially considering that sort of looking back on some of the cards and some of the artwork, you can be sort of very, I don't know, critical and judgmental about it nowadays. But it's just sort of like nice to see sort of a lot more again, me saying, oh, it's nice to see that there's a lot more sort of like progression in Urban Rifles and all that. It makes it sound like Urban Rifles has sort of been really outdated and sort of secretly misogynistic or anything like that, and they really haven't. They've been fantastic throughout, and they've never really done anything too wrong. But it was just like a really big thing for the game to actually start to include some LGBTQIA plus whatever, how many other letters there are, representation in the game. And I do really respect that they did that through the release of July and also Impar Capri. But those were my opinions on Capri and Rocket. To put it simply, I think he's inarguably one of the best common cards which Raptors have been given. Like, his support is fantastic, and considering that, I mean, it's not great in, say, dual decks, but in mono decks, like, I next to always see Rocket being played just because that 10-4 is fantastic and it's just really good. Like, same reason why people play Sandro, apart from, of course, it's just a risk of away with Rocket. But he's good and I like him. There we go. Case closed. Yeah, I'm just getting tired and rambling now, so I thought I'd just stop myself from talking even more.
No, that's okay. I think we will be ending the video here. But yeah, I know you've spent the whole day editing and stuff, but thanks for joining me.
No, you're more than welcome. Anytime.
Anyway, I have been that girl with the cards. He has been Itzzwan LD, and we shall.
Itzzwan LD.
That's your
that is
name,
my
is it
other
not?
name, so you're not wrong there, but it's just weird for people to include the LD. Like, sure, I know that's my name, but that just threw me off.
Anyway, I have been me, he has been him, and I will see you in the next video, whatever that may be about. Do you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye.
I was going to say, no, I don't want to say bye, but I thought, no, I'll be nice and say bye anyway.